I've been monitoring what BBC has done in regards of getting the show out there, and definitely seeing what Cinemax has been doing, and it's been really remarkable because not only have they been playing with the whole idea of Byzantium, they've been also approaching the fan as fans on Twitter, on Facebook, via email, promoting the show very, very actively. And there's this also now this feature of having the wall, and you go and discover all the clues in there. And if you're really, really curious and like discover, you know, Easter eggs and stuff like that, that we've been having a lot of fun with it. How much of an input do you have in that marketing campaign?
Well, they show everything to me. They discuss everything with me, but they've been amazing. I mean, I don't think there's anybody better than the team at HBO and the people they work with at promoting shows and getting the word out. And I think the viral campaign that they launched for Hunted, I mean, it's as good as anything I've ever seen, if not better. It was just so clever. And if people haven't taken it, they should still go to ByzantiumTest.com and take it. It's an entertainment experience on its own. It actually is just, whether you watch the show or not, it's fun to do it. And there's a magic trick at the end, which I don't even want to tell you how to do it because you wouldn't believe it. It's so clever.
Are you talking about the house?
I'm delighted.
Are you talking about the house?
Well, is that what you drew? It's different for everyone, right?
It's crazy. I don't understand how that happened. But like, I do. When I was a child, all the time used to draw houses because my grandmother drew this house on my bedroom. So for me, that was a drawing to go to all the time. So maybe, I mean, maybe it worked or not, but say like Roy or Tiffany that did the thing, they also drew the house. So it was really impressive. And in that, now that, we're winding down into what Hunted has been going on with you, and based on your experience on the X Files and larger, like later things such as like The Night Stalker and Samurai Girl and Strike Back, and what do you think, looking back at that and having your own different experience working in the UK, that's also a different country. What do you think it's changed, evolved from producing TV in the States to producing TV in the UK?
Oh, it's so different. I didn't appreciate how different television is in the UK versus the US. I mean, they're completely different. The only thing the same is that they're television, really. Everything about it is different. They're not really in the business of doing long running returning series in the UK. That's really the exception to the rule. Mostly what they do here are 2 or 3, 4 hour, you know, limited run series with no expectation they'll come back. And that's the way the whole business is organized. And they don't have the budgets of American television shows. So this show, it was 8 episodes with an intention to come back and a huge budget. And the system just isn't designed to support that. Nor is it designed to acknowledge the existence of somebody like me. They don't have showrunners here. And so if you're trying to do a series with 8 episodes and have somebody like me be an authorial voice behind the scenes, guaranteeing the quality of the series from director to director, it's not an easy or intuitive fit for anyone here. There was a lot of looking at me like, what's he doing here? Do we have to listen to what he's saying?
Yes.
Does he know what he's saying?
Maybe.
Used to it. So, but I there's some things about it that are fabulous. I think the people who are really, really talented here, they love what they're doing. There's a commitment to the craft of it that is incredible. Not just among the crews, but with the actors. And I think English actors are, it's no surprise they're among the best in the world. So it's been delightful in many ways, but it's also been challenging.
How much of this? Because we saw that Melissa George, who plays Sam Hunter, she had to do a little bit of extra training to fit her character. How much of this is being done by her, and how much of this is being done by stunt doubles? How much do you risk?
She does a lot of it. I mean, it's funny. She likes doing it, and then she doesn't like doing it. She likes as much as she can to do it. It's not always practical to do everything. So she did have a fabulous stunt double who did a lot of work and was amazing. And you'd be hard pressed to spot her. Even if you're watching cut by cut, you'd have a hard time identifying when it's Melissa and when it's the stunt double. But Melissa really got into it and was really committed. And I mean, she's talked about this so much so that she did hit the stuntmen more than once. She really did connect with some of these guys. In episode 2, there's this really brutal fight that it took all day. It was 10 hours of shooting it, and she really did punch the guy in the eye, and he got a black eye. So I think she really loves doing it. But I think on the other hand, she really feels the rage of it, and I think that was really draining and emotionally exhausting for her, and I think that part was challenging. So she came away really spent emotionally and physically, and that's one of the things I really love about the fight sequences that she does. Is I feel like there's a real person in these fights, and in episode 1, when she sees she's been ambushed at that cafe, there's that reaction. It's not a reaction I would see Jason Bourne or James Bond have. It's like, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then after she's killed the guys and she runs back to her purse, you see she's freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
It's shot. You just see all this emotion like a real woman would have. Not like a super tough spy, but like this is a real person in a situation. And I thought that was really exciting.
There was another question that I had about the actors. And there's also the, whenever we learned that the show was going to be on Cinemax is also known for being Skinemax. Do we have to brace ourselves for some gratuitous sex here and there, or is it going to be handled more the Spotnitz way?
Well, hopefully the Spotnitz way. I mean, it's funny because I don't know if you saw that SNL skit about the 13-year-old advisor for Game of Thrones, like, where to put the nudity and stuff. But, it's a fact that all these premium cable channels can have sex and violence in a way that their competitors don't. So obviously that's something that they're happy to take advantage of. But to my mind, I don't want to be gratuitous ever. And I understand the commercial appeal of doing sex and violence, but I don't want to do it unless it serves the story. So my attitude toward the nudity in the show, and there is nudity, is it should just be natural. And if you would see it, you'll see it. And if you wouldn't see it, you won't. We're never going to frame it in, and we're never going to frame it out either. I don't want to be one of those shows where people are mocking you for having the obligatory, nude scene every week. It's there, but it's there as it would be, as part of the storytelling, not to exploit, hopefully.
Yeah, that happened to us a lot when we were watching Strike Back. It was like, okay, so it's 20 minutes in, now comes the sex scene.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, okay, it's fine.
But I'll tell you, one thing that went through my mind about this was that when Cinemax came on board, I realized that very first scene of the first episode, I could show her having sex with Bernard Farrell.
True.
I realized that was something if it had been just the BBC, it never would have crossed my mind. And then I thought, I've never seen that. I've never seen a female spy have sex for work.
True.
Now, it's implicit that that's what she does, but usually we're so polite and, we just cut right past that, because that's kind of, what do I think about that? A woman doing that. It's okay for James Bond.
Yeah.
But for a woman, I don't know. That makes me a little uncomfortable. And I thought, I like that. Because, make people think and see what your double standard is. Why is it okay for James Bond, but it's not okay for a female spy?
Yeah.
So I thought that was something really interesting that we have the opportunity to do on this show.
That's good. I'm gonna have to ask these questions, because if not, I'm gonna be burned at the stake. XF3. What's going on?
Dude, you don't have to preface it like that. I'm happy to talk about X-Files 3.
It's just, usually, we've given it a little bit of a rest until things settle down and something is, able to be talked about. But it's people are getting antsy, and it's hard for some of them to understand that life does continue after December 22nd. But what's going on?
Well, believe me, I know how they feel. Believe me, I have never forgotten about this, and I can't even tell you what the things I have said and done, and how long and loudly I've been banging this drum for this movie. And if it didn't happen, it's hard to accept that it wouldn't happen. It's just so wrong if it doesn't happen. It should happen. It's kind of crazy that it didn't happen a long time ago. And it's infuriating and frustrating. But, as everyone knows, David wants to do it. Jillian wants to do it. Chris wants to do it. I want to do it. It's been getting the studio on board to make this movie. Now, there's been a change of management at 20th Century Fox, and I don't know how that will affect the prospect of a green light. I hope it makes it more likely. I don't know. But I can tell you that I'm still doing everything I can to push everybody that needs to be pushed to say yes. So I am not giving up. I'm not ready to give up. I'll let you know. If it ever reaches the point where it's like, this is nuts, everybody, I'm sorry, time to mourn this opportunity, I will let you know, and I'll stop saying don't give up. But it hasn't reached that point.
And we hope that it doesn't, because, I mean, it's not only us at XFN that have been driving this campaign, it's everyone that has been putting in the time and all the efforts and rallying up all over the world, because at the end of the day, it is a community effort. And there's just so much that people are waiting to hear that one last story. And I'm sure that even if it does get produced, after they walk out of the movie theater, they're gonna go like, okay, so when is the other one happening? But I keep repeating to people, one, don't give up just yet, because you never know what could happen now that, like you said, we have new management. And then two, things are changing so much every day about what people realize that we want, that it's actually refreshing that things are changing in Hollywood in that sense as well.
Yes.
Not only for the sake that now nothing gets produced in Hollywood, but
I agree. I'm old enough to remember the original Star Trek series. It was 10 years. It was 10 years from the end of that show to when they got that first movie. I don't think it's going to be 10 years between X-Files 2 and X-Files 3, but I'm not discouraged by the gap. And I still think it's going to happen.
I think people forget that it was actually 5-6 years between the show ending and I Want to Believe starting, and it takes time to do the things that it actually matter. I mean, you don't want to rush genius, I guess. It takes time.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for everything you do all the time. You're amazing, and there you go.
Look at that. Is he coming to the premiere of X-Files 3?
For sure.
Good, because Roy already got him a tuxedo. So he's gonna be,
good. He'll be speaking with an English accent.
Oh, okay. All right. So, last words for the fans for now.
Well, I'm just, I'm excited that I have this conversation, especially with you and with the X-Files fans, because it feels like we've been together quite a long time now. And so, you guys and the people at Back to Frank Black, with all the Millennium fans, it's like you're the home team for me. And it's especially meaningful that you guys are watching the show, and I hope you like it.
Yeah, we will nitpick it to death.
Good. Perfect.
All right. Thank you so much, Frank, for being with us.
See you online.